we shall see the arguments against democracy. We have seen what is a basic form of democracy, define the democracy, then we have seen the steps or the basic features of democracy. Now we shall listen to certain arguments which will force us to decide that we should not follow democracy. What are those arguments? Let us see the first one. The first one, the leaders change continuously in democracy, which may finally leads to instability. Yes, when we talk about the leadership change, in democracy we have a procedure that through a smooth procedure in elections, we will have the defeat of the ruling party, which may ultimately result in the change of the leadership. So, in the change of the leadership happens, that means the previous government might have planned certain major steps to develop the country or a certain particular project to be initiated, which has been initiated during that time but may not be liked by the other coming party into power. So, automatically that would lead to the dismantling of the previous project. So, here we can say it can cause instability for the economy. The second point, the second argument what we have is democracy is always about political competition and power play. In democracy, we do not find any true and genuine leaders. We find leaders who always are in competition with the political parties and always want to achieve the political power into their hands. So, the political competition, democracy is always a political competition and power play. Democracy means the game is between the political parties. The political parties are always in competition with each other. They do not trust each other. If a particular government A announces a particular project, the other party which is not in power would always try to criticize the party which is in power, and the intentions of the party would always be questioned. They may not go in the same lines of ideology. If one proves that it is right and good for the people, the other party always tries to prove that this particular policy or this particular idea is wrong. So, this is always in political competition, and finally they want to have political power. The political power is the main target of all the political parties. For what we are saying that they offer a free choice or a true choice for the voter to choose the party into power, but in actual terms they are not offering any true choice, but it's just a power play happening between the political parties, and finally one or the other will achieve that power into their hands. So, how can we say that democracy is a true political power or a true people's government? Maybe sometimes really when we observe the election procedures, we may really feel that yes, it is truly a war between the political parties. It's not for the benefit of the people, but for the benefit of the political leaders to establish themselves, to claim themselves as a people's representative. But in actual sense, they do at the benefit of their party members, and later only somewhere at the last milestone you find people's benefits. Second very strong argument against the democratic governments. Third one, in democracy you have many people's representatives. It may be either the presidential system or the parliamentary system, where every policy has to be discussed thoroughly and it has to be ensured that everybody understood the people's representatives. A continuous deliberations happen, a consensus have to be reached, and finally you come on to an onset note, then you declare this particular law has been passed by the parliament or the court. Now, the delays, these consultations definitely would lead to delays. So, democracy is always time taking and it is delaying. So, the golden time, the most valuable thing in this world is time. So, if we also have a quotation that justice delayed is justice denied. So, how can we justify that? Democracy, when it is delaying, most of the people are getting denied of the justice. Actual rights are being denied for them. May be true, because from 60 years the women reservation bill has not been passed yet. Moving on to the next major one. The elected leaders do not know the best interest of the people. The leaders, if you take the true statistics of the elections, most of the elections are a limited margin elections, wherein we can find that majority of the people have rejected this person except a 10% of the minor gap what you have between the competitor and him. So the leader who is elected may not know exactly what is the best interest of the people. When a leader does not know what is the best interest of the people whom he is representing, obviously it would lead for us that he may take any decision which may not at all be in the favor of the people. So that is another major default for the democracy, or the defect for the democracy. Next, we have the democracy always leads to corruption, as we need to consult many people and many deliberations to happen in order to make the work to be clear at various desks. People started to give money for them to pass on the bills. So automatically it leads to corruption. And finally, we also have a common and questioning point about the common people. How can a common man know what is good and what is bad? When we talk about the politicians who are coming into politics, we don't find mostly the well-educated people coming and entering into politics. We find people who have come from the humble beginnings, and later on they establish their own group of people as followers and turn as a famous leaders. So these leaders were once a common ordinary person, and the ordinary people also, the common voters, may not be able to identify what is good and what is bad for them. So how can the leaders identify what is good and what is bad? So these are the common arguments which we hear about the defects of democracy. Now let us sum up this one. The leaders change in democracy. Yes, regularly they change for a periodic intervals, which may sometimes lead to instability. And then democracy is truly a political competition and ultimately gets power play into their hands, either A or B the party. And delays, yes, in democracy you find delay of consultations, and the best interest of the people may not be known to many of the leaders, but not that all the leaders do not know the best interest, and leads to the corruption. Yes, there may be a chances of leading towards corruption, but not 100% sure that it will lead to corruption. And the ordinary people do not know what is good and what is bad. So here we need to understand that these are the common things what we generally discuss, that this may happen, this may not happen and all, but it is not always true. We also have certain other points which we need to look at. We can now conclude that yes, democracy may not be the best form of government of the modern times, but after looking at so many negative points, but still we have the other face to look on. Let us look at the other side of democracy now.
If you like this video, please give a thumbs up. Please subscribe to our channel to get more videos on CBSE syllabus.